Draisaitl is sneakily one of the he's like just below Kachuk in my books of like dirty players.
Oh,
Like,
yeah. I mean,
yeah.
it's
This is LA Kings Fan Talk with your boys, Rodney, Rob, Darren, and Joe.
All right. Let's talk some Kings hockey. Where do you want to start today, boys?
I want to start with, I didn't know that apparently the Kings are building a facility in Mammoth. Did you know that, Rodney? They're building it's definitely an ice rink. But he said it was an LA Kings facility, so I don't know why they would build a training facility up there, but I Googled it, nothing showed up, so you heard it here first.
How about a little non-Kings talk here? Just because they're on national TV, they're on TNT tonight, and so just thumbing through the channels and watching some games, and I just find it laughable that the Kings are in second place behind the best team in hockey, the Golden Knights, right?
second best team.
And everything is just fueled to Draisaitl and McDavid. I get it. They're great. There's just not a whole lot of respect still. And I'm still laughing at the hot takes at the beginning of the season. Ottawa Senators will make the playoffs. The Buffalo Sabres will make, and they're playing today. They're both Buffalo's 3 games below 500. Ottawa's 3 games below 5. I mean, they're just terrible. And they just sell. If you're on the East Coast, it's great hockey. If you're on the West Coast, it's got to be a Western Canada team, Flames, Edmonton, and it's just crap. Well, we never get respect. We're Rodney Dangerfield.
I watched the Canadian broadcast, not necessarily by choice. They put it on the American one, and the service that I use, the stream was not very good, so I ended up on the Canadian one. I usually watch Canadian ones anyways, but I mean, they had only had a Canadian slant and I didn't really think that Edler hit was that bad, and I don't know. Maybe I'm ignorant, didn't really see intent there, but he has a reputation for that, so I'll take them at their word. But other than that, they were fairly complimentary towards the Kings. I guess maybe on American broadcast, I don't know. But
complimentary during a broadcast is one thing. I'm talking. Where is the? Hey guys, the Kings made the playoffs last year. Guess what? They're in a playoff spot this year. Guess what? They're a pretty good team.
Well, no, that's again going back to what I watched, the Canadian thing. They were just talking about they fought a hard series and stuff. I'm like, to me, I thought they were making a big deal out of a first round series, but it was a good series for sure. And I guess they're looking at it from the microscope of it being a Canadian team, but I don't know. I mean, for the 3 years where the Kings were pretty dominant, where they won the 2 cups or whatever, the media got on board. I don't know. It doesn't bother me, I guess.
Nothing ever bothers you, Joe. You're a nice guy. You're sweet.
I mean, it would bother me, if the Kings were some dominant team or something, which they aren't. They're all obviously on the hopefully on the upswing or whatever.
Joe's like the Matt Roy of our show, just even keel, nothing bothers him, just does his job.
Well, I mean, I'm not as emotionally invested in this crap once the Kings won the cup, not 1 but 2 times.
Well, yeah.
I think a lot of those too are they want the new hotness. You know what I mean? Both those teams made, Ottawa made some splashy acquisitions, and Buffalo made a lot of trades and pickups and stuff like that, through the draft. So they're trying to get on board early with those, new hotness teams. And
you guys can make excuses all you want. I'm just telling you from my fan perspective. I like to hear things about my favorite team. We never get to hear things about my favorite team. So what do? We get on and we talk about our favorite team. I guess this is the whole reason why we do it, right? It's because we just don't get enough people talking about the Kings. So,
Well, I'm just curious then, Rodney and Darren, because I didn't watch the same broadcast as you, was your perspective of that they weren't throwing compliments the Kings way that they should have? Or?
It was just 75% McDavid Draisaitl coverage. In fact,
Yeah.
there
The
was
other 25%
so normally
was
when
talking
a
about the
team
Kings
goes on a
loss.
power play, this is on TNT, right? So normally when a team goes on a power play, they'll throw like the names on top of the players' heads, right? Well, when they did it for the Oilers, they only put it over McDavid and Draisaitl's head. Like the other Oilers didn't even exist. So that I've never seen that before.
Yeah, I mean, who cares about that crap? I mean, look, it's national TV. They're trying to appeal to a broader audience, and I guess Americans are too stupid to try and keep track of 10 players' names on the ice rather than just the two that matter or should matter. I don't know.
Let's go back to the Edler hit. Was it dirty or not dirty, Darren?
I thought it was unfortunately timed. Like he kind of spun off of Anderson Dolan. Like he hit him. It's probably like, I think what was called was right, and then I think they should have given more to Nurse for instigating and all that kind of stuff. Like, just stupid. But
that's two different things, I think. What are you talking about?
I'm just talking about
the Edler hit, right?
the knee itself. Was that a dirty hit?
I don't think he was intending it for it to be like a dirty hit. I think he had lined up a hit, and then when he spun off, it kind of threw him into a bad spot.
Yeah, so on the Canadian broadcast, I don't know what they said in the American one. They were saying Edler is a history of doing this, which I'm not aware of. We'll take them at their word, but their line of commentary from multiple people is that accidentally on purpose sort of stuff. And I didn't see that. I saw him make a quick move, he was in between two players, and it looked to me like he was trying to drive his shoulder into his chest, and he moved over. Now, yeah, I mean, he obviously hit his leg. It didn't really look that bad. It looked like he hit the inside of his leg. Like it wasn't like he just completely cleared his knee out or anything like that. And so I don't know.
What do you think, Rob?
Seemed much worse.
I have him stopping. I have him trying to collide with him, but as he's coming to a stop, he didn't try to drive through him. He didn't try and I don't see him trying to skate his knee through McDavid's knee. He saw him tangled up with another guy. He was engaged with someone else.
Well, he's leaning forward too.
Right.
He's coming forward like that. Like
right. So, but the collision when it happened, he was almost already stopped when they actually finally made contact.
Yeah, it looks like one of those plays that happens a lot, where it's like the guy was invested in making a hit, and the point of contact shifted just a little bit, and his body shifted, and like they call that a knee now, and it's kind of, I don't know.
So if you look all over Twitter, you'll see the little video clip of what happened, and it's from the side, and it looks like a knee, but only one time on TNT they showed the close-up view from directly behind of Edler, and he actually never moves his knee out. His knee just keeps going straight, and I don't know why they don't show that one. I think I know why they don't show that one, because they want it to be all about McDavid, but it didn't look dirty at all. If you look at that, it shouldn't even be a penalty if they show that replay, but they keep showing the one from the side, which does look like a knee from the side. But
yeah, I mean it's definitely a trip. Like it's definitely a penalty. Like knee, whatever, all that stuff, whatever. The guy didn't get hurt. It was not.
So
it wasn't like obvious or egregious or whatever word you want to use, but and they all got worked up over it. Like, I mean, that's the Canadian broadcast is talking about. Oh, they're all fired up now, and they're all going after him. And I guess from our perspective as Kings fans, the Kings won the game. So, like, yeah, it's good to see that they're definitely the third pick was yeah.
If you think about it, it directly led to us winning the game, because McDavid was pissed, took a penalty, and we scored seconds after a power play. Like,
yeah, I mean, potentially. I mean, I don't know. I think maybe even maybe, I don't know. Who knows? I mean, he had what? He did have an assist on their only goal, so he did have a point, right? But
no, he was 0.
oh, okay. I thought he made the pass on that first on their goal, but whatever. But he was like, from most of the times I've seen the Kings play against him, not as I wanted to say like he wasn't you know, noticeable how he did, but I don't remember any like McDavid plays that he made, you know, tonight. Like he looked like he's pretty much.
The one that was
You
close
don't
was
you don't
that
remember
one
him.
that
You don't
Arvidsson hit.
remember him cross checking a senior citizen in the back. You don't remember him high sticking to no in the face.
Oh, come on, it's ridiculous. A senior citizen. But I mean, look, I mean, yeah, I guess that speaks to Darren's point. I mean, like he went after that stupid little play. Like that's one of those dumb things that cost your team games. Like, granted, the Kings don't have a great power play still. That was one thing they were harping on the Canadian broadcast is how much penalty or power play time the Kings have had, and versus Edmonton, and yeah.
Speaking of Canadians, I'm very disappointed in Oiler Nation Twitter. You should have seen just the crying and the what were they saying on there? They were saying things like Edler should get at the minimum a 5-game suspension, intent to injure, manslaughter. They were just going absolutely insane. And they were talking about how the league is biased and they were trying to protect players like Edler instead of protecting superstars like McDavid. That's kind of stuff they were saying. I had to shut it off after a while. They were trying to compete with like Maple Leaf and Vancouver fans. I couldn't believe it.
All those people that say that stuff, they're all Darren's age. They're all guys that just pussify the game, and it's whatever.
Yeah, we had some really good.
Darren, don't take that from him.
I think he thinks I'm younger than I actually am. Is the thing.
You definitely aged, not in a bad way. Like you were always a baby face, but you're looking like an adult now. So
the scruffiness helps.
Yeah.
You look like you're Kapari's age, maybe.
Yeah, right.
Not even.
Speaking of Kapari, that was a nasty spill he took in the boards. When you saw that in slow-mo, the way his neck and the back of his head hit the boards.
I'm telling you, I said it the last podcast we had. I'm going to double down on it. Especially after he got hit and he looked a little like dazed. He looks like Leo DiCaprio in What's Eating Gilbert Grape.
Yeah, you did say that.
Just yeah, he
probably talks like that now too after that.
Probably that was pretty that was sad to see. I'm glad he seemed to be okay afterwards.
He did.
Yeah, he played again. So
Darren, you noticed this stuff. Blake Lizotte, after that turnover, was his ice time significantly cut?
I don't remember.
I don't remember seeing him the third. I don't remember seeing him the last 10 minutes for sure.
I don't think it was significant, but I think we went into like not a prevent defense, but we shortened our bench for sure. I think we cut out the third.
He was out there. I mean, he was definitely out there in the second, but I'm pretty sure he was out there in the third too. I mean, but dude, I was going to text and then you guys just like that was awful. It might be one of his worst, most egregious things.
Yeah, but what's funny is I think he's the type of kid that's going to sit there, go, oops, and then not do it again. You know, I don't see him as a repeat offender like someone else on the team. Jersey.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. It was still clearly a brain fart for sure. I mean, just watching it, like he could have sent it pretty much anywhere else on the ice that would have like been less hazardous, but like flinging it backhand. It was a backhand, right? Or no?
Yeah, he backhanded that. Yes.
Yeah, like up the middle, like when there's nobody really. I think there's somebody there, like on the far point, or whatever. But like even if that person, there was nobody, an Oiler between him and the person he was passing to, it still would have been a horrible pass. Like, so yeah, but whatever, doesn't matter at the end of the day. Yeah, Kings win.
Kings win. Woo!
Yeah.
So, Rod, I know we've been every time we do these post game ones, we end up talking a lot about just the most recent game, but you know,
Calgary.
it's been another 6 games again. What are we, 7-2-1 the last 10 games? I mean, overall, I think we're doing pretty damn good. We're on a little swing.
Yeah.
Now we're 7-2-2 in the last 10 games.
For the Kings to
Remember when I did that?
for the Kings to sweep at home 4 games in a row, that does not happen too much. They're notoriously
nice.
a better road team, but
I don't think we got to talk about it either, too, because the last podcast we were kind of disjointed a little bit and we didn't talk about the upcoming games. But I was going to say, we needed to win 3 or 4 out of those because this stretch where it's like Calgary, Edmonton, Vancouver, Seattle, like it's not an easy stretch, you know. And
well, we'll talk about that when we wind up the podcast again of our upcoming schedule.
Yeah.
Before we go off this game, let's go really quick. Another Oilers Nation tweet was, man, if we had Skinner in the playoffs as our goalie last year, we would have easily won in 5 games. That was the tweet.
I think everyone saw the importance of Drew Doughty against a team like Edmonton.
Right. He got under their skin.
And just he skates with them. Yeah. It's amazing. You brought it up. He's 26.5 minutes a game. That's sickening.
Mm.
The next closest is who his partner? Anderson, 21 minutes.
Yeah, and he's not a spring chicken anymore. He's closer to our age, Rob.
I mean, he's playing 5 whole more minutes than anyone else on the team. He's logging the minutes. And this is something that's changed. I hope it doesn't become the trend, but Kopitar's back over 20 minutes a game again.
Yeah, I hope that doesn't become a trend, and I hope they don't go back to the first power play unit playing 1 minute and 20 seconds again. It was so good earlier this season when they were coming off the ice with like 45, 48 seconds left.
The Jersey Kaliev unit on the ice for more time?
I do.
That's our power play 1. So
in our eyes, right?
I'm talking about coach's eyes, not our eyes, but yes.
No, okay. Well, we don't have a power play 1. It's the Kopitar unit and the Deneau unit now. Right. They don't specify it as 1 and 2, allegedly.
I got I have the ultimate line for myself, Rob, and Joe. It's Velarde, Kaliev, and Grunstrom on the same line, and then for Darren, it's like 2 Durzies on defense behind those, and that would be the ultimate line for us.
Well,
listen, that line would score a bunch of goals and let in a bunch of goals. So
I think that they should bump Kaliev up. Like, problem is, like, you can't put him on the top 2 lines. Those are pretty much set. I mean, maybe you can put him in Velarde's spot and then bump Velarde down to back down to where he was. Or sorry, he was on the 3rd line. Whatever So you could swap those 2 out. I do think like Grunstrom, like at this point, does well on the 4th line. I'm willing to concede that. Kaliev definitely deserves more time.
He only got 7 today.
I like Kupari. I like the way he skates. I really, really do. And but if Byfield gets healthy for 3rd line, you got Fiala, Byfield, and Kaliev, and if that can grow and mature, and
that would be nice.
That's a lot of skill. It's some really good size out there with our center, and Kaliev's a big boy.
Yeah.
And then everything that Fiala can do and brings to the table with his skill set, and he's kind of nasty too. So I wouldn't mind seeing that as a 3rd line. It's a solid 3rd line.
All right. Also on this game tonight, do we give it up for Cal Peterson? Did he finally have a good game, or do we give it up for the Kings blocking 500,000?
Come on, Rob. Come
no
on.
Way.
He played well enough to win. He didn't have to win the game for the team, but he deserves credit. Like,
Okay,
he
he
didn't make
deserves
any huge.
credit.
He did he make any huge saves? I don't know. No, not really. Like a couple of. There's one at the end where he came all the way across the other side of the net where Draisaitl was going to backhand it in. So, yeah, at least give him a little credit there. Well, whatever. I mean, yeah, bar set low. Obviously, he's made his bed, but
Here's why I say no, Joe. The whole focus of the TNT broadcast that you didn't watch.
block shots.
Block shots, block
We're
shots,
talking about
block
the
shots.
Canadian one too.
Nonstop block shots. And it's rightfully so. I mean, there was a conscious effort out there by the entire team to get in lanes. Here's what scares me, Joe, and I hope it happens again. I don't hope it happens again, but I'm sure it will. Puck gets behind the net, he gets lost. There's no other way I could explain it. He's lost. And there's two particular times in today's game where
I saw it.
He's looking to the right and the puck is almost in the slot to the left. And it's like, oh my God. He's real slow when his head's on a swivel. It's not on a swivel, it's on a and it scares me. That's all.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying like, yeah, I'm just saying that he deserves credit for the whole team in there. And yeah, he had a little protection, but he made saves. He didn't let in softies in.
True. And yeah, right.
No, bar set low, right?
Yes.
But he didn't do that.
How would you like that type of effort in front of Quick?
Well, Quick does get that effort too, and he has gotten it through his whole career. I mean, the team, the teams when he won the Stanley Cup, like that's why he's never had a high save percentage, just because he's, the Kings are never facing a high volume of shots for him to really see it. But he makes the saves when it counts, which
I just thought it was a real good effort. Defensively by the skaters, I just thought it was our best. I thought it was our best defensive effort of the season.
Fair enough. Yeah, I mean, it was nice to see the game not just turn into a trading chances.
Yeah,
I thought until the third period. I mean, the first two periods, I think the Kings were very calm. Waited for their opportunities and capitalized on them, a few of them, and limited really Edmonton's chances, and that's what won them the game. The third period, I mean, I wouldn't say they're getting shelled, but they're definitely just playing to win.
Yeah.
Rod,
it was blue line, red line, dump it.
Were you scared as I was, Rodney, that Fiala was going to just take an absolute dumb penalty in the third, and then in comes the power play goal?
Forearmed? When he got forearmed in the corner?
Over the course of the last 5 or 6 games, he's 5 or 6 games he's really stopped doing that. So I wasn't worried about that. Here's what I was worried about: us not scoring an empty net goal again, because we're like the worst empty net goal scoring team there is. But it was good to see Trevor Moore get the hat trick. Give it up for Thousand Oaks.
Yeah.
SoCal.
Yeah. Fiala is as advertised. Would you all agree? He's worth every penny he's getting paid. And he's like the only guy on the ice besides Kopitar where like, oh, he's not going to make some stupid turnover. And he makes some risky plays too, but just so confident with the puck.
Yeah.
And,
so shifty. He's
don't ruin the YouTube algorithm, but he chubs me up when he's doing that. I'm like, it's just so much confidence. Like, it's awesome to watch.
We're 19 games in. Let's say there's no injuries for the Kings this year. Who's going to finish the season as the point leader on the Kings? Who do you say, Joe?
I would guess Fiala. I mean, that's an easy pick. But
Darren, you think Kopitar is going to hold on to his title?
No, I think it's going to be Fiala too. I mean, he's leading right now, and I mean, he's getting the power play time, and like Joe said, he creates the offense for himself. I mean, so.
You got a different answer, Rob? Or you going to...
I would like for it to be a Velarde or Fiala, sure. That means if one of those two guys are leading the team, that means I think we're absolutely making the playoffs. But realistically, I think Kopitar is going to He'll just swallow them up. If he's going to be playing 20 minutes a night, he'll and it'll be a close race though. It'll be a close race.
I wanted that first one. He tucked below the goalie.
Oh my God! It got through just wide.
It did.
Yeah.
The old,
I know. I
can
was
opener.
I'm still bummed out. Two breakaways for him, and he gets nothing.
The second one, he was gassed. I think that's why he just
shot
it.
He rammed into the boards. That's when the Wheeler player fell behind the net, full speed, and then Kopitar, like 30 seconds or whatever it was later, same thing. Just I don't know if there was something on that side of the ice that caused them to lose their edge or whatever. But
I think it was at the end of his shift, that second breakaway is what I'm saying, and I think he was a little.
Well, but he also ran into the boards like full speed.
Just before that.
Draisaitl is sneakily one of the he's like just below Kachuk in my books of like dirty players.
Yeah.
So is
that's not sneaky. He's
the fact that he shot a stick at someone after their goal, and it's like, what are you doing? Like,
that
kind of stuff is just.
I don't want to get our stuff censored. He's chicken poop for sure. Good player, but yeah, he's.
Did you guys catch that shift with him and Arvidsson going back and forth the entire shift?
Yep.
I thought for Arvidsson being like half his size, he held up pretty good. Laughed it off.
Yeah. That's what made me mad. Doughty laugh, and then they scored right after he laughed. Yeah, speaking of laugh, but oh well.
He laughed and took himself out of position.
Yeah.
Freaking
all right. Calgary.
No matter what they do, they cannot get me to dislike Daryl Sutter. Will never happen. Anyway, what do you guys think about the Calgary game?
I mean, it's probably one of our worst games of the year, right? I mean, just we came back and made it close, but
I think we did everything well except defense. We did okay on offense, and even though we had a bunch of goals scored against us, Quick actually was playing really good. Made a lot of big saves.
I think half the team through half of the game in different parts had to take a shit.
I see what you did there, Coach Sutter.
Yeah, it was ugly. But that's the thing. The Kings have played how many games like this so far this season, where it's just been back and forth. I just wish Kopitar would have put that one in at the end and tied it up.
Oh my God! Yeah. Well,
I jumped out of the seat on that one.
You're bringing up Kopitar, and I want to say I might be the biggest Kopitar fan out of the four of us. So, oh my God, how many chances has he had? Just say in the last 5 games that he is not putting away.
Right.
Oh my God. And that's what makes it, that's what gives the Kopitar haters a little bit of,
all right. Who is a Kopitar hater?
He's talking about out
Joe, you're smarter than me. That's why, because you won't get into the Twitter stuff. I need to get off. I need to just stay away from it. I agree with you. But I'm telling you, there's people out there that actually think Kopitar is old, slow, done. He shouldn't be our number one center. They're literally serious about the whole thing. It's not a troll. They're not trying to get. They think that.
Well, there's some truth to that. Those statements you said, but not in that context. He's not as young as he was, so yeah, I do think he's a little bit slower, and he should be playing less minutes. So first line, second line, whatever, however you want to phrase it, I think we all agree that he should be playing less minutes, which I think is why the thing that right now that's great is when you put Fiala on the third line or whatever, look at where all the scoring is coming from. It's coming from 3 lines. This is awesome. Just got to figure out how to stop the puck going in our own net, which, yeah, I mean, I think he deserves some criticism, but it's not just him. It's, yeah, whatever.
Before
back to Kopitar, though, like,
right.
Yeah, that's nonsense. Nonsense. I mean, there's at least half the teams in the league would probably take him as their first line center right now at his age.
Thank you, Joe. This is why we have this podcast, so people can hear that statement right there.
Yeah, I mean,
but I agree with it.
But I mean, like there is criticism. Like I do think, like, you know, when he's playing a minute and a half on the power play, like to start it off, and he's standing there, you know, looking just to push the puck around the perimeter and stuff. You see where the Kings power play has been successful this year. It's been where people are moving around and there's that short pass, whatever. And the thing is with him too, is like he's able to control the puck. Like he can take a check and push the puck off to somebody else instead of just standing there. Because if he stands there and waits for the second or third option, even if he gets that pass through, it's not even a good option at that point. It has to be, you know, whatever. I'll let you talk.
I actually wouldn't mind seeing him not on the special teams to cut his minutes.
That's not going to happen, but yeah, I mean, just cut the time down and maybe start the Dano line out. If you're talking about power play, start them out first until they run out of gas. And then
what I'm saying is because on the power play, he's gotten to a point. I don't know why it's happened. I don't know if he doesn't believe in himself or if he thinks passing is the better option. But when he's especially on the power play, when he's got the puck, he's not an option. They're trying to do this stupid seam pass from circle to circle that hasn't worked yet.
Well, it has worked, but yeah, you can't be a one trick pony. You have
right.
to
But unless he starts shooting, it's just stale. The power play is just real stale. I just think he either needs to start shooting or just put someone else out there.
Yeah, or put him in front of the net and have somebody else quarterback it. I think they did that.
Even put Velarde.
Try something different.
Yeah,
just try something different. You keep doing the same stuff. Yes, I think we're pretty much all in agreement on that.
You know what's crazy is our power play's better than it was last year.
Oh, by far.
That's how bad it was last year.
It's not, yeah.
And it's still
started
terrible.
off good. It started off good. I think that's kind of. I mean, I don't know. Go defer to Darren, stats guy, but I would not following the stuff. But I guarantee you, our percentage is weighted towards the first probably 10 games of the season.
Yeah, definitely.
I remember after the first few games, Joe was like sending out tweets saying, "I haven't seen the power play look this good in years." Yeah. So
I don't know if I've ever seen the Kings power play look good, but
Joe's done with Jad, huh?
What's that?
You're done with Jad.
I think we have too much depth. I don't see any place for him in the lineup.
He could be Michael Amadio, right? And go be the fourth line center for some other team.
Yeah. He could be Amadio or Dad.
I think Blake Lizotte is a great fourth line center. I think I'll go as far as to say I think Blake Lizotte has Stanley Cup caliber fourth line center potential.
I love it.
Nice.
I'm serious. I'm not even joking about that.
Hey, Lizotte, Grunstrom, and Lemieux is formidable.
Well,
I think they can. I think they can do a good job at what a fourth line is.
He's everything that you want out of a fourth line center.
So, Joe, if you're serious about the Lizotte thing, then you would actually want Lemieux in the lineup because he's the only guy that's going to let Lizotte survive the year.
I don't have a problem with Lemieux at all. I just, when people are making putting the record up there, it was a legitimate question. Do you really think that he's having an impact on the game just by him being in the lineup, even if he's playing whatever 7, 8, 9 minutes a game?
I think he does, but I don't think it's necessarily on the scoreboard.
I personally would like to see him rip somebody's head off.
Right.
That would make me win me over.
I also don't think we need to play him every game.
I don't think he's an anchor either. You know, to me, it's just like ho hum, he's there, and yeah, it's good that he's there because you want.
I don't think he fights enough to have the impact people are saying.
For sure. Or even just, yeah, like throw a big hit on somebody at a key time, that sort of thing. And it, he's in a tough spot for us to judge him on that, because when you're playing that limited amount of time, but you've got to be your focus, right?
Right.
So can we, instead of going to the Calgary game, can we go all the way back to the Florida things, go through the Kachuk thing? Because Darren will know, are the Kings going to play Florida again this year?
One more time.
Yeah.
Oh, they are. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So Lemieux, if he's healthy, better be in the lineup and better just ragdoll him. I don't care if he goes full Claude Lemieux on him. I really don't. I think he deserves it.
Can you bite him?
Here. Come on, Joe. It's come on. They got to be good sports about it.
Yeah, no, that guy's a dirtbag, 100% dirtbag. He's a great player by all accounts, but deserves to have everything he has coming to him. I think he's, correct me if I'm wrong, probably the most disliked player in the NHL, and he's earned that.
Well, according to his brother,
it's just so ironic too. Like, Claude Lemieux's son, Keith Kachuk, I don't know as being like a dirty player. I know he's physical and stuff, but apparently,
I blame their mom, whoever that is.
Joe, I actually sent out the tweet. I don't know if you agree. It sounds like you agree. What Matthew Kachuk did is worse than what Brendan Lemieux did to Brady Kachuk.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I have to ponder that for a second.
So sticking your stick in a goalie's mask and turning the blade down the way he did it is worse than biting a guy's hand that's trying to gouge your eye out.
Okay, so when you put it in that context, I know that Lemieux like bit his hand. I don't know, like, I know that they were both on the ice wrestling around and stuff. So whatever led up to him actually biting him or causing him to do that. Both are extremely childish. I guess, yes, I'll agree with it now that I'm thinking about it, just because of the fact that Matthew, or whatever the hell he goes by, is standing on his feet and purposely,
right?
Honestly, not to make fun of Eric Parra, it is like a total Eric Parra type shit. Like, just nonsense.
It's a call out for like one of our fans.
Just nonsense. Like, who's doing that? Like,
right. So,
like, and you. It's funny because people are like, I don't think he purposely stuck. Like, I know he put his stick in his face, but I don't think he actually tried to purposely stick it through the mask. But there is no question, dude turns his blade so that it will go in there. And I know he was looking, but we know how our blade, the shape of your blade.
The people that are sitting there saying he's looking away, he's not doing it. I'm all. That's exactly what makes it even more reckless. So you're telling me he's uncontrollably sticking his stick into someone's mask? I mean,
and at the end of the day, it ends up being innocuous because nothing happens as a quick or whatever. But that, there's literally zero use for that in the sport. Point being is if two people are engaging each other versus a guy's trying to be a goalie and just make the saves, and you got some guy like trying to poke his eye.
I don't think there was enough mentioned about he actually hit him right before, like he put his stick on his helmet.
I know.
And then Quick makes the save, and then he puts the stick,
does it again,
into his. It's like it was more than just one time that he actually made contact with his head.
Yeah, I mean, it like that goes beyond like troll level where, I'm sure I would be willing to bet a person that has that mentality is still probably sitting there even after being suspended 2 games, like, yeah, whatever. That wasn't a big deal.
I got in their heads. I live in their heads rent free.
He's right to a degree because nothing bad happened to Quick. But what happens if that stick does actually hit Quick's eye? And then I would hope that he has enough remorse as a human being that he, like, that was dumb. Like, it's just stupid.
So when we were 6-6, which is how many games ago? 6 games ago. Brant Clark was playing his 9th game, and we were talking, is he going to stay with the Kings? Fast forward now to 6 games later, he still hasn't played. Are we still all thinking he's going to play the 10th game and he's going to be an LA King this year?
I think so.
Rodney.
I don't think they would have waited the 5 games of him not playing in the NHL so they could use that loophole to so they can let him play in the AHL on a conditioning stint so that they can let him play in the
it's OHL.
World Juniors.
Yeah, so he can play in the World Juniors. By then he'll have more experience and they'll let him play the rest of the season. And we'll see where we're at. Hope maybe we make a trade by then. So I do think they are not going to send him back to juniors, and he'll stay on the Kings all year.
He will be on the Kings.
Yeah.
So here's my question. Joe, let's get your take on this. No, let's go Darren. Darren, no, I'm not trolling you. Is Brant Clark better than Sean Durzi? Honestly, your honest opinion.
I think they are supremely close. I think Clark is probably this much better. I think.
Did you say supremely close? Was that what you used?
They're like, if I had to say, I think they are like our tied for 4th best defenseman on our team.
Okay. I hate your opinion. Just kidding. Joe, do you have an opinion on Clark?
I mean, I really don't. Like, I know we talked about this like the last one we did, but I don't. There's nothing to me that stands out to send him back or to keep him here. To me, it's a wash. Which
Be careful. I said that after like game 4, and Rob got mad at me.
Well, but I agree with you. I mean, he's put it this way. I guess the thing is, like, I know you like to crack on Durzi, but it's so easy to poke fun of a defenseman when they get eaten up, like,
and they're young, and
Durzi, not that it matters, isn't really like. I mean, I don't think it's a fair comparison. Like, one guy's supposed to have like a top level of talent, even though he's younger than the other guy, where the other guy just kind of came out of nowhere. But if you're asking, what was the original question Rod asked, or whoever?
Is he gonna be on the original question? Is he gonna be an LA King, or are we sending him down?
Yeah, I mean, I would probably agree with Rod said. Like, you're saying, like, hold him over so you can play the World Juniors, which I don't even see what benefit that is, other than just to bide more time in case of
exactly what it is. Yeah.
Roster move or whatever. But yeah, I mean, I at this point I don't really. And by the way, like, I do think it's from all accounts, and correct me if I'm wrong, like, he had like some serious damage done to his mouth, so it's not like they're just putting him, on the sidelines because of a sore, whatever you want to call it. I mean, he has grill rearranged, so it's not like it was like a minor injury. Am I wrong?
No, I don't think it was so much his mouth injury. I think we're
timing is definitely suspect, though. I mean,
right, but it's also one of those things. I think we're running into a Todd McClellan thing where, we're starting to win, and I don't want to mess with the lineup.
Yeah, I mean, bottom line is, I think I personally would, if you're asking me, if I were coach or GM, whatever, I would keep him on the roster. I don't really see any benefit to sending him back down. But will that happen? I will say, let's go ahead, because I know I'm very verbose, that they'll probably keep him on the roster.
I hope so. And I'm choosing Durzi to be my whipping boy, but I think
he's had moments. He's had deserved moments, but
see, here's the thing. I'm kind of down on Edler a little bit. I'm down on his play a little bit. Sean Walker's not
old.
Yeah, I know. And Sean Walker is he missed an entire season last season. I was hoping to see him get better. I think we've played enough of this season for the rust to finally be off. And
Well, yeah, I mean, if you're going to talk about getting rid of defensemen, I mean, he's the one that I'd probably move at this point.
So
and I
Sean,
liked him a lot. I did like him a lot. Like, I don't think you get rid of Roy for sure.
no, not at all.
Yeah,
and that's what I'm saying. I honestly, and this isn't a troll, I think Brant Clark it is a second pairing with Matt Roy. I think we got Sean Dursey playing his offside right now with Roy. Why not put Clark there instead? I just think he has just as much offensive upside as Dursey, but I don't think he is as bad as Dursey is defensively. And then now what that does is now maybe you could put Dursey down on the third pairing, maybe give Edler a lot more rest, because Dursey's upside, put him third line pairing, cut down his minutes, but let him continue to play the power play because he clicks on the power play. Dursey has his skills,
I like that line of thinking totally. Because the young guys got to come up and, I don't think Edler's been bad by any means, but you want your young guys to take over. I mean,
yeah, right.
This is probably Edler's last year.
Or better yet, put Dursey down on the third pairing with Edler, put Dursey back on the right side, and maybe we ship off Sean Walker.
I would do that. I mean, I think he's the person that is the most likely to be moved.
Yeah.
Whether and I don't think they're getting much out of a trade for him, and he could probably go on and be a good player somewhere else too. I think he just got wrecked like too many times in a short period of time.
But I tell you what, there is value in Sean Walker, regardless of if he's not producing points or anything like that. He is an experienced right-handed shot defenseman that's only making $2.6 million. There's a ton of teams out there that would love to take his experience, and
he plays a relatively mistake-free game.
Yeah. I think right now what's helping the Kings in the standings, because we are fighting for that playoff spot. We've played more games than anybody, so our point total is a little misleading. We got 21 points. Do we got 23 now because of the win, or is it still 21?
We have 23 points.
Yeah. Okay. So we got
23. Like the lowest point percentage of any team that's in the.
We're right.
But the Kraken has like 3 games in hand. The Oilers have 3 games in hand on us. Calgary's still above 500. I'm a little worried about people catching us if we go on cold streaks. Where are we going to fit in on the playoffs? What's helping us is the Central's just terrible. But it was. But now when I wanted to talk about this, Rodney, they were a lot worse. Colorado has won some games now,
right,
in their last 10. But Minnesota being a 500 team, Nashville being below 500, the Blues stinking it up right now. They're in last place in the Central. All those teams right there off to the slow start means I really think it means the Pacific's going to have a wild card team, unlike last year. Last year, the Pacific didn't have a wild card team, so that helps our cause. What doesn't help our cause is the Kraken. And we talked really briefly. I think Darren agrees with this too. They're a young team, so I'm hoping kids like Beniers and Wright playing an entire man's schedule of 82 games against full-grown men, maybe around the 50th, 60th game, they're just done and they quit and they nosedive and
here's hoping
and leave the playoff conversation. So you always got to do some standing watching, because that's the name of the game. We got to be in a standing spot to make the playoffs. So,
I remember in years past, I would look at the standings and the Kings would be less games played than other teams. I'm like, they just have to win 2 out of the next 5 games. well, they have to win those next two
Right.
games. When you have them in the bank already, you
Correct.
won those. So yeah, you can look at it two different ways, but bottom line is the Kings are what are they
4 games ahead. 4 games
games
above
ahead?
500. Yep.
Yeah, I mean they're in a good spot. I mean,
Yeah.
they're in a better spot than whoever's 500 or. I think Calgary was 500 until they beat us the other night. But bottom line is, all this stuff's going to shake out. I mean, the Kings could fall flat on their face. Any of these teams can, and somebody is going to fizzle out at some point. But I'm not worried at this point. I think the Kings are a playoff team regardless.
So as of tonight, the Kings have 64 goals for, 64 goals against. They're finally even, because all year long they were in the negative on that differential. I hated it, but
I think that was mostly because they had like 3+
crazy
2 or
games.
3, like where we lost by 3, 4, 5 goals, and it's like, and I think they've showed a stat tonight where we have 7 1-goal games where we win.
We got
So
a few minutes. Let's go into the
Schedule.
upcoming games. Go for it.
All right. So our upcoming schedule. Finishing out the road trip at Vancouver, back-to-back nights. Friday night Vancouver, Saturday at Seattle. Kind of important games there. We'd like to see us beat Vancouver, since they're not all that great, and definitely need a better effort against Seattle because they kicked our butt the first time we played them.
Yes, for sure.
Then we come home for a real quick game against the Rangers, and they're as advertised. Personally, I think they're the best team in the East when it's all said and done.
You're not a fan of the Devils?
Well, I said what I said. Then we head on up to San Jose on the 25th, and I'll actually be in San Jose on that day. I don't know if I'm going to go to the game, but then we come back home. Ottawa, Seattle, Arizona. I'm telling you, Ottawa's not playing all that great, and I love our games against Ottawa, by the way. We always
it's always fun.
have some feist games, right? That Arizona game, even though they're playing well, it's a game I expect us to win. So if we could take care of Seattle, treat them like an expansion team, because we play them twice, beat up on Ottawa, beat up on Arizona, beat up on Vancouver, that just leaves the Rangers, and San Jose always plays us tough. I think this is a winnable stretch.
I think so too. Be a good chance to pick up a few points here.
7-game stretch here that I think we really can catch fire here and get some points.
for sure.
What game worries you the most, Rodney?
None of them.
Okay, you're not worried.
I'm not worried.
Darren, you worried about any of it?
I'm more worried about the Kings.
Probably just a letdown performance against San Jose, like you said. We always let them hang around. They always like to beat us up.
Didn't they just beat the Knights the other day?
Yeah.
Yes, they did. And it cost me. I had money on the game too. I was so upset.
But I mean, I think it's that back-to-back Vancouver Seattle is probably like the toughest combo set of games.
Yeah, this week. I'll be in Vegas for both those games.
There you go.
For the second LA Kings Fan Talk meet and greet.
Hell yeah. Joe, what are you worried about those seven games?
Not worried about any of them. It's a long season, so yeah.
Hey, Joe's got 2 Stanley Cups. He doesn't care. He's not worried about any games.
I mean, bottom line is they're probably going to lose a few of those games we expect them to win. That's usually how it goes. And who knows? They could lose more than half of those, and at the end of that 7-game stretch, they're still going to be above 500. So as long as that's what I was hoping. Like last time we talked about the stuff, to stay net positive and get a little bit of run, which they did. They won 4 games in a row. Now you're kind of in a position where you got a little bit of a cushion. But none of them. Yeah, I don't know. I don't pay attention to the other teams in the league enough to really have a
right.
I think they'll lose to the Canucks. I know they lost 8. They lose their first 8 games. They'll probably lose that game.
All right, Kings fans, that's our show for today. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay classy. Until next time, go Kings, go.
Go Kings.